I'm Corrine Stucker, and this is my therapy project that I designed for my language disorders and rehabilitation class in the speech language pathology assistant program at Estrella Mountain Community College. Now for today, my therapy session has been designed around the ages of 5 and 6-year-olds in kindergarten that I'm working with, and it has been goal-oriented to their capabilities and skills at this point. Today I'm going to talk about a few of the basic spatial and position concepts. These are essential building blocks for education and language development and are frequently used in conversation or classroom instructions. So for today's therapy session, I've designed it to teach with the format of using visuals to explain the basic concepts of the words above, below, and between. At this time, my first visuals, and I have my students sitting at a table that is conducive to their height and age, and they're sitting across the table from me. So my first visuals that I'll be showing are relating to above and below. And in my first visual, I'm wanting to explain how here with the butterfly, we find that the clouds are above. And in this next picture, I'm defining the word below, and here we find the clouds are below the butterfly. And then for the word between, here we find the tiger is between the two boxes. So where do we find the tiger? He is between the boxes. Now I'd also like to use some modeling and demonstrating with my students, and so at this time I would demonstrate with our faces. Where might we find our nose? Our nose can be found below our eyes. And where might we find our mouth? Our mouth can be found below our nose. And where do we find our eyes? Our eyes can be found above our nose. And then where do we find our nose? Our nose is between the eyes and the mouth. Now I'd also like to show a few additional graphics to show the below word. And here we have a ladybug, and the ladybug is below the window. And in this one, we see that the star is above the line. And for between, here we can find the string is between the fingers. Now today, I'd also like to show that we have Jiminy Cricket with us here today. And Jiminy Cricket can show us what above means. Jiminy Cricket is above the chair. And when Jiminy Cricket is here, he is below the chair. And when Jiminy Cricket is here, Jiminy Cricket is between my hands. Now at this point, I'd also want to give my students an opportunity to practice and showing where Jiminy Cricket is. They could each have a turn, and I could give them a cue to let them know when it's their turn, and they could take Jiminy Cricket and show that he is either above or below the chair or between their hands. And then at this time, when I'm feeling that they have been grasping the meaning of these words, I'd want to begin the students practicing these concepts through hands-on activities and learning tools that I provided, and this will give them an opportunity to play with the words that spatially that they are learning. So let's start with some flashcards of above and below. In this particular one, we have a set of skis and a snowball. So I might ask the student to tell me, where is the snowball? and they could indicate or tell me that the snowball is below the skis. In this case, we could talk about where is the airplane, and the airplane is above the cloud. Now we could also do this by setting these up in my hands, like playing a card game, and the students could pull out a card and they could share with the rest of us what they have on their card and what is the location of either object on their card. And then we could also go on and talk more with the word between. And at this time, I would have the students look at these flashcards, which we have of musical instruments and colors, and I'd let the students select a card and tell me what instrument or color is between the other two. For example, what instrument is between the tambourine and the tuba? And they could indicate or tell me the guitar. And in this case, I could ask them what color or shape is between the blue and the orange color, and here they could identify that it is the green that is between. Now we could continue working on any of these activities as long as we feel necessary and as to how they are doing with grasping the concept. And lastly, I want to work with the students on listening and following directions. And so at this time I have an activity where I will provide each of my students a set of blocks. And I would ask them to place the blocks out flat on the table in front of them. And then I may say to them, place, for example, the yellow block above the red block. And then place the green block above the yellow block. Now I would not be doing this while they are. I would just be giving the instructions or directions and allowing them to determine the place of where to put the yellow or the green block. And once they have done that, I could then ask them what color is below the yellow block, or what color is below the green and the red block. Now again, they could have opportunity to practice with each of these activities throughout the remainder of the session that we have time for, and we could continue practice building and also playing other games where they might identify other objects around the room as to what is above or below that they may see. So I feel that the student is learning and understanding how to use these concepts correctly through the activities that I've shared today. And this does conclude my therapy session.